Yo, what's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Thank you guys for hanging out with me, especially those of you here early and live for the pre-show roll call. I apologize for the double sound there. Um, 0 days since last production incident. That's all right. But yeah, we're gonna have a great show today. We've got the No Prisoners podcast crew, 45-1 actual Kevin and the fam, all hanging out with us today. Both my OGs should be here as well. So it's gonna be a fun show. Plus, it's the first show this week where I've actually gotten more than a few hours of sleep. So I actually feel normal, like myself for a change. So that's good too. Anyway, let's get this underway. Jump into chat wherever you're watching. Say hello. We'll give you all a shout out, and then away we go here at the top of the 4 o'clock hour to officially start the show on this gorgeous but very hot day here in Pittsburgh, PA. Q-Oys and Silebor over in the mosh pit on D Live, holding it down. Good to see you guys over there. Shout out to Joe Elaine all over our platforms, modding the chat. Thank you so much, Joe. Sulfanol over on Rumble with a bunch of people over there. Hit that thumbs up button over on Rumble. And please share that link out there as well. Of course, now pilled.net is the exclusive home for hour number 2 of our show today and every day. And that's where most of the fam hangs out. Jump into chat over there. Joe Elaine in there first. Hey, what's up, Joe? We got Lightspear Lance out there as well. I saw Delia was working the primaries yesterday, which I saw had some good results. Carrie Lake won her primary. It looks like Abe Hamadeh has a slight lead over Blake Masters, which is good news. We'll see how that all shapes up. Floyd, due diligence. Good to see you, sir. As always, Patriot 714, HL Paco, Space Cookie. What's up, guys? Good to see all the early birds popping in. D. Richard in that crew as well. Floyd hooking us up with our first gold pills of the afternoon. Says yes, it's Wagyu Wednesday. Right on, Floyd. Right on. Thank you for the cookie. Mikey Baseball, good to see you. Pip's mom over in Wales, UK. Good to see you as well. We got our Harold in the house. What's up, Harold? Tweety 52. Hey, there's 45-1, the No Prisoners podcast. Can't wait to have you guys up here in just a moment. And I got, let's see. Good afternoon, Mr. Gerardo in the house. Barb Robbins out there. Range Pony and Pensider. Packers 412. Lyle, Jenny, how we doing today, guys? Great to see you. Hope you're having an awesome Wednesday. Lucy Anders, welcome. Good to see you. And Idaho Patriot. Good to see Idaho Patriot out there as well. Scrolling down, who else is out there? Mountain Lace, Trump Red Pill, and Caustic and Abrasive. Hey, Microphone Maven in the house. And it's a bunch of favorite fam in one place. Love it. Cheers, Maven. Thanks for the can. It's great to see you, and much love as always. Thank you for all your help and everything that you do. Maven's the best. Casey Powwow, Wood Geek. Good to see you. Laura Y repping the 412. Let's go, Laura. Dave 75, DX 315, Russ in the house, the legend. We got Victoria Lay, Mike the Madman, Too Quick, Wood Geek, Melissa Callie. What's up, you guys? Yavapai, Michael out there. And Florida Mimi, Dangleberry, Paul Thaddeus, Kaz 1012. Good to see you all. Hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday. Cherokee George, how we been? Good to see you, man. Cactus Canyon and Boys Blanc dropping a can. Thank you so much. Lizzie B and hey, Kaiman Molon Labe checking in from South Africa. Love to see it. How we doing, Kaiman? Hope all is well. Delia with the cookie says Carrie Lake winning is not good news. Heap beating Richard Hyatt is good news. Why is Carrie Lake winning not good news? I don't understand. Carrie Lake is wonderful. Maybe we agree to disagree on that one. But I think I remember you saying something about Carrie Lake before and why you didn't want her in there. I think you wanted her as to run as governor, right? I don't know. You have to remind me, Delia, what your logic was there. So I know you like Carrie Lake, but you didn't want her to get this particular Senate seat for one reason or another. Anyway, Glass Wanda, Fazic, welcome you guys. Chops, ITMC, Roy, Stones and Bones over on the West Coast. What's up, Roy? Good to see you. Good to see all you guys out there again. Thank you so much for hanging out with us on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon. Really looking forward to the panel, to the discussion today. It's going to be a lot of fun. So sit back, relax, grab your popcorn. Let's get ready to roll. We'll be right back, everybody.
We will make America strong again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
Y'all for tuning in, Patriots United, doing what we gotta do to win. Be addicted, the MSM, and now we're moving in. And once we take over, we won't ever move again. Where we go on, we go all. I say you would grind. No, we won't run, we won't fall. We're right by your side. The demons have taken hold, but none of us will abide. Stand strong and stand bold, that's how we'll survive. 412 is the production. Monday through Friday, deplorable discussions. We're making it hard for the deep state to function. Every time they switch up the narrative, we debunk it. Adult Nero is the power that's controlling the plight. With all you patriots behind them, cause we're all in this fight. So many rhyme for so long, but we're giving them sight. Trapped in the world of darkness, but we're bringing them light. You may even find yourself in a different life. A lot of us have, and honestly, that's perfectly fine. Because exactly where you are at this moment in life is where you're supposed to be at this moment in time. It's all by design, the patriots are holding the line. They must have lost theirs, thinking they're controlling our minds. So many trapped in mental prisons don't know they're confined. They're just slaves in the system to the roles they're assigned. That's sad, the good news is that we're waking them up. They have monopolies on minds, but we're breaking them up. Everything you thought was news, they were making it up. When we ascend, all the tyrants won't be making the cut. Let them all burn in the hellscape they create. We the people already mapped out our escape. We hold each other by the hand as we all elevate and go to a different place they can never get chased. When I look into the future, I can see that it's bright. When this history is written, they will see that we're right. We formed our own community and the circle is tight, but I expand the circle with every word that I write. The pen is sharper than the sword when you wield it with might. Why do you think they try to kick us off all the sites? These people hate America and punish us out of spite. We are the beacons of hope in the darkness of night. So let's go, strap in, yeah, get ready for the ride. Watch the water, we're witnessing the turning of the tide. Feel the passion and the fire that you got burning inside. Take the narrative they're feeding you and turn it to the side. We're alerted to the lies, we're preaching with the truth. We know the plan they devised, they're invading the youth. Now we're only sending vibes, just start raising our boots. These demons all weaponized, now we're raising our troops. Now we're raising the roof and sounding the alarm. Remember that it's always darkest before the dawn. Life is a game of chess, they wanna use you as a pawn. You're only useful until you're not useful, then you're gone. But not us, we're on the right team where we belong. Everybody is invited, so come follow along. We refuse to say things are right knowing they're wrong. Adult Nero, take the mic and take flight, cause it's on.
And now, straight from the Steel City, it's your host, 412 Adult Nero.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back and happy Wednesday. It is awesome to be back with you guys for a hump day edition of Deplorable Discussions. It is July 31st, 2024. My name is Adult Nero. We've got a great panel for you guys today. We're going to have the OG crew plus the No Prisoners podcast fam all hanging out with us. 45-1 Actual is working through some technical issues right now with his camera. So I'll start off by introducing Mr. Tennessee Homesteader. TN, how you doing, man?
I'm doing okay. Another rainy day in Eastern Tennessee.
How many
One
days?
of these years I'll be able to mow the lawn. What's that?
How many days is that in a row for you?
Almost a week.
Yeah, I feel like it's been coming down pretty good over there for a while.
Yeah. It's sunny now, but it was funny because today I had to hitch up my trailer. I had to go pick up some lumber, and I spun it around and let it go, and it went. The tongue went right into the ground. I mean,
no.
like 6 inches into the ground. That's how soft and wet it is.
Man, yeah, I'm sure at a point that makes it way, way harder to get shit done.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I'm glad you are able to come in and hang out with us today. Got lots to get into, and welcome aboard, Tien.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's jump over and introduce our special guest for the afternoon. 45-1 actual feisty ace, the No Prisoners podcast fan. What's up, 45-1? How you been, man?
Good, man. I almost feel like we should have visited 3 times in July, like it was like the calm before the storm. We did 3 shows together in June, and then like all hell broke loose in July, man. It was crazy. It's crazy.
Dude, you're not kidding, man. It's been maybe the single craziest month. I've been broadcasting now for going on 6 years, I think. Maybe, yeah, I think it'll be 6 years of having a channel. Come October, we'll celebrate like a 6-year anniversary of all this, and I don't think there's been a crazier month than what we just went through in July. I mean, it was insane. But yeah, it's great to have you. Great to have you aboard, man. I see Feisty's with us as well. What's up, Feisty? How are you?
Oh, I am wonderful. I hope you're all well.
I'm doing good. I feel human again for the first time in 3 days, which is nice. After a long trip and a lot of physical exertion and very little sleep, I finally feel like a normal human being again today. So that's a nice change of pace.
Well, that's good.
Well, it's great to have you aboard. Where's Kevin at?
I'm not sure. Kevin might be having some kind of medical issue today. So if you're a prayer out there, keep Kevin in your prayers. I didn't get a whole lot of detail from him this morning, but he told me he was taking the day off. And I said, hey, man, everything good? And he said, not really. He said he was resting, and he would find out more later. So I'm assuming it has something to do with doctors, and we'll find out, I'm sure. But yeah, just keep him in your prayers.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely prayers out for Kevin. Always enjoy having him on the show. So we'll definitely miss him today, and hopefully maybe we'll have to do another podcast here soon. Get everyone together. But it's great to have the No Prisoners podcast fam with us. Let's introduce Drunk Pinata as well. Pinata, how's everything going in mainstream media world?
It's weird.
Perfect.
I think we need to start saying it's JD, because that seems to be their mantra nowadays, right?
Yeah, well, they pair it up with Trump, and Vance are weird. Like, it's not just Vance; they have to definitely slide Trump in there.
They're trying to soften the whole "oh, he's Hitler" thing, because they know that's not going to work. So they're trying to change it up. But here, let me share with something you guys. Apparently, Kamala Harris dropped a new ad. So let's see what that's. Let's see what it
this
says.
Is so good.
I'm Kamala Harris, and this is my rebranding. I get it. Until now, Americans have seen me as that childless Karen that always has too many drinks at the cocktail party, and you don't have the heart to tell my husband Doug that he's a whipped beta male married to an insufferable witch. Look, I get it. I'm unlikable. I'm inauthentic. I say crazy shit.
It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day. When we talk about the children of the community, they are the children of the community. You need to get to go and need to be able to get where you need to go to do the work and get home.
And yes, okay, I was the border czar. And so even though I might have been a bad vice president, what I do have is ambition. You would not believe what I would do for this country. Oh, who am I kidding? If you vote for me, you're as cringe as Chuck Schumer.
We are here today to throw our support behind Vice President Kamala Harris. I'm clapping. You don't have to.
Let's all see what can be, unburdened by what has been. And by what has been, I mean the Biden-Harris administration. Vote Trump 2024. Let's make America great again.
I'm Professor Sagan Deesnuts, and I approved this message.
That's what Elon Musk used against.
Yep.
All right, that was cool.
Good stuff.
Speaking of which, okay, so here's something for you. When was the assassination attempt? What date?
July 13th.
When is election day?
November 5th.
What's the numerical value of November 5th?
11/5.
You know there was 115 days between July 13th and election day?
That's kind of eerie.
So 115 is the election day, and 115 was the number of days between 7/13 and election day.
Interesting.
No, but they don't do the numbers.
Well, let me just go ahead and get sponsors out of the way here, so we could just kind of carry through uninterrupted from this point forward. We only have the one sponsor, and I'll do it very quickly because they're our everyday sponsor, and pretty much everybody watching knows all about Earth Garden Botanicals up in Montana, run by our friend Jolene. Amazing wellness products, guys. Everything's organic. Everything's locally sourced. Jolene's an herbalist and a health coach. She's really, really brilliant, total patriot and badass. And these products are fantastic. Products like the CBD and hemp products, all locally and organically grown. So check out the tinctures, the gummies, the topical cream with or without the CBD infused, or CBD oil for pets. Check out elderberry tonic for your immune system, fire cider to clear your sinuses. There's all kind of teas to choose from if you're a tea drinker. And of course, the critter juice, which is an all-natural insect repellent to keep the mosquitoes and bugs off you this summer. It smells good. It doesn't feel oily and gross on your skin. Promo code 412 gets you 10% off everything here in the store. So go check it out. Go say hi to Jolene. Load up a cart, and again, that's promo code 412 for 10% off your order over at earthgardenbotanicals.com. So again, as always, big thank you to all of you guys who continue to support Earth Garden and our channel through supporting the sponsor. Guys, if you haven't hit that thumbs up button yet, or the red pill, please smash those. Repost the show as well on pilled.net. Hit that little circular symbol. Share the link out there, all that good stuff that helps us grow. And again, thank you guys all so much for hanging out and spending some of your Wednesday afternoon with us here on 412 Productions. So obviously 45-1, we got to start with the assassination attempt, man. That's clearly the biggest news since the last time we've hung out. What were you doing when it happened? Were you watching the rally live? What was your initial take on it? What's your feelings on it now after we've had a few congressional hearings? We've heard from Director Cheadle, or former Director Cheadle, and then we had the second in command step up and talk to the Senate yesterday. What's your overall take on this whole thing?
Well, I was actually volunteering at a local park through my church. We were cleaning up a bunch of trash and debris from a tornado that came through in late June, and did a bunch of damage, and nobody had gotten around to doing that yet. So we went down there and volunteered, and I started getting texts and messages from people who watched the NPP, and they're like, somebody just tried to kill Trump. And I was like, what? Like, there's gunshots at the Trump rally? And I was like, okay, let me put the trash bag down real quick and start looking into it. And then I started seeing the headlines come in, and I was like, oh boy, this is getting out of hand pretty quick. So my initial reaction was like, okay, who done it, obviously. And as things have developed, there's just too much incompetence, man. It's too many failures. And I'm obviously not an expert in asset protection. I'm never been involved with Secret Service or anything like that. Did a little stint in the Army. And so I kind of understand about sand tabling things and setting up defensive perimeters and, just the ComSec and all of that stuff. And the fact that this dude was able to fly a drone over yet the Secret Service couldn't because they had bandwidth issues, right? The fact that he was able to get inside of 300 meters with a rifle that he had previously placed, literally right on top of the heads of the counter SWAT team that was stationed there. And then the amount of time that he was observed and all the things he was doing, looking with a golf rangefinder at the stage. And kind of Josh Hawley, I mean, he really laid it out pretty clearly. It's like, why hasn't anybody been fired for these different failures? And I'm just kind of leaning towards somebody got in contact with this kid or positioned this kid or helped this kid get to where he was. And I think there's a lot more to it than just a lot of oopsies. You know what I mean? Like there's just too much stuff out there for me to believe that a 20-year-old outsmarted one of the, if not the greatest asset protecting group in the world. I mean, that's their job. And just the amounts of failures, not even just to the point where Trump got shot at, but even getting him off of the stage. And I know we got like the iconic fist pump and all that stuff, which is great. But in my mind, it's like he shouldn't have had time to do that. He should have been in the back of the beast within seconds. He shouldn't even have been allowed to go on stage for crying out loud. So I don't know, man. I honestly can't tell you in one direction that I know for sure that there's some insider threats involved here, but you have whistleblowing counter snipers with the Secret Service telling Jesse Waters that they think that there's going to be another one because there's corruption involved in the leadership at the Secret Service. I'm leaning towards inside job, man. I really am. I hate to say that, but I feel like that's where we're at.
I don't see how you could logically come to any other conclusion. You know, like you think about who the kid was and what he was able to accomplish. It doesn't make any sense that he'd be able to pull that off on his own. So clearly he had some kind of help. You think about how long they were tracking him, like you mentioned. The fact that Donald Trump was allowed to go on stage is insane when they were aware of the potential security threat. There's so much to it that there's no way it was just simply like innocent negligence that allowed this to happen. And then you have the fact that their story keeps changing as to why the roof was uncovered. You know, it started with the slope, then it was too hot on it. It was local law enforcement. Then they were in the like. When the story keeps changing over and over again early on, you could tell they're trying to figure out what their narrative is going to be. And now they're trying to paint this kid as like an anti-immigration MAGA supporter when I mean it's clearly bullshit as well. I have an article on that maybe we'll get to. But
what MAGA supporter would shoot Trump? What MAGA supporter would shoot Trump? None.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Today I posted because of Bongino. Bongino keeps identifying all the failures and he keeps leaning towards the failure. And I basically I posted it on him and I also on the video and I also posted on True Socials. Novacula Okami, right? Which is Latin for Occam's razor.
Mm-hmm.
When does incompetence masquerades as intent? Because that's what we're seeing. They're masquerading.
I agree. Yep. I completely agree. They're
and then it just how kind of like how it was all set up too, and then Joe Biden like drops out of the race, and they like created this martyr out of Joe Biden, like Donald Trump getting shot in the ear, and Joe Biden doing the best thing for the country and dropping out. We're somehow on like this equal playing field. I was like, these people are absolutely disgusting. They are so disgusting. But yeah, man, that's where we're at. Totally agree with you guys. I see the chat, talking about the overseas accounts and everything tied with that. And then you got this Armory guy out of Arizona, I think it is. And this guy was like flying into Washington, D.C., and they got his phone pinging next to FBI offices. I mean, it's just, come on. We all kind of have always had this idea in the back of our minds that they were going to escalate it to this position, because they've gone through the communist playbook on how to get rid of the opposition. And they did literally everything they could to try to destroy the man and his image. And when they couldn't do that, they literally tried to kill him. I mean, that's the playbook. That's the playbook.
Yeah, and the irony of it is with every step they've taken to destroy him, they've made him only more popular and more supported, especially by the core of his base. But with this last move to try to shoot him in the face, essentially, I think they've really made him a sympathetic character to a lot of people that might have been on the fence, and I think between the indictments and the weaponizing of the Justice Department against him to the actual assassination attempt on his life, they've really helped to solidify his image as an outsider candidate, as a political outsider, right? I mean, you could really see that there are very powerful forces working to stop this man, and most people who are skeptical of the government, their power, their whether or not they actually have your best intentions in mind. They see all these major forces coming together to do everything they can to stop this man. I think it really helps him. I think most people want to see significant change to the system. I think most people feel like the system is rigged, that there is a lot of corruption, that the government does lie, cheat, and steal quite often, and the fact that clearly the powers that be are so threatened by the idea of another Trump administration, I think is really, really starting to play into his favor when it comes to, creating a mandate to lead and make major reforms to disassemble the administrative state, to kind of burn down the bureaucracy that's been siphoning the power from the people away from our legislatures. I think that there's so much in that. And again, the more they squeeze, the harder they work to try to remove him, the more evident that becomes to the average normie out there kind of watching from a distance. Did you agree with that?
Yeah, no, I absolutely do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let me see. I had some stuff here on here's what the FBI is trying to put out there. So it says, must read, FBI now claims Trump's would-be assassin allegedly ran an anti-immigration and anti-Semitic social media account. Gab founder refutes the claim with FBI's own receipt. So the FBI has linked Thomas Matthew Crooks, the would-be assassin of former President Donald Trump, to a social media account purportedly filled with anti-immigrant and anti-Semitic rhetoric. This revelation was made during a Senate Homeland Security Committee hearing on Tuesday, where U.S. Secret Service Acting Director Ronald Rowe and FBI Deputy Director Paul Abate, we'll just call him Abate, provided updates on the ongoing investigation. Despite initial reports, the investigators had found no threatening posts on Crook's social media accounts. Deputy Director Abate claimed new evidence had surfaced. Quote, something just very recently uncovered that I want to share as a social media account, which is believed to be associated with the shooter, Abate said. Quote, some of these comments, if ultimately attributable to the shooter, appear to reflect anti-Semitic and anti-immigration themes to espouse political violence and are described as extreme in nature, he added. While the investigation team is still working to verify this account to determine if it did in fact belong to the shooter, we believe it important to share and note it today, particularly given the general absence of other information to date from social media and other sources of information that reflect on the shooter's potential motive and mindset. These are the facts, in part, that the investigation has revealed to date. While the shooter is dead, our work is very much ongoing and urgent, he concluded. Torba responded to the FBI's allegations by releasing what he described as evidence contradicting the agency's narrative. He claimed that his team discovered posts attributed to Crooks on Gab that painted a different picture of his political affiliations. According to Torba, These posts indicated that Crooks was pro-Biden and supportive of his immigration policies. It could be recalled that on Wednesday, he announced that his team had discovered evidence suggesting Crooks may have operated an account on Gab under the username Epic Microwave, which is a weird username, Epic Microwave.
Weird, man.
That popped up on, that was weird because that popped up shortly after that handle, shortly after July 13th. And it didn't come from the FBI. It was Anons that posted that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. So Gab learned that Thomas Crooks, the deranged Joe Biden supporter who attempted to assassinate President Donald Trump, may have had an account on our platform. We were unable to confirm the account in question actually belonged to him. The account was last active on the site in 2021. As far as we were aware, the account did not use the site to send any direct messages. He posted on the site 9 times total. While the account made very few posts on the site, the majority of them were in support of President Biden. A number of posts in particular expressed support for President Biden's COVID lockdowns, border policies, and executive orders. We have saved the account data pending receipt of a search warrant.
So the guy, let's, first of all, the FBI come in. Oh, you know, we want to get to the bottom of this. We don't want to jump to conclusions. We want to do it, but here we have this suspicion that this is his account. We have no evidence that it's his account, but we have to get it out there because it's a suspicion. In the meantime, we can't do anything really that's right in front of your face and your lying eyes because, you know, we want to do the full investigation.
Isn't that funny?
I don't want to put my thumb on the scale and fire anybody. What about the guy? Why is it that the Senate and Congress in general and the head of the Secret Service know who was in charge of that particular rally for the Secret Service, and yet this name is just so elusive? Nobody will say who it is. Nobody will say who the buck actually stops with. I mean, it's the most corrupt cover-up crap that I've ever seen. It's insane.
That's what we were talking about yesterday, 45-1, you know, and TN can speak to this too, because he's worked in project management and operations and you know, his past career. But we were talking about it like something like this. We're now more than 2 weeks out from it happening. The fact that they can go there and sit in front of Congress, knowing what questions are going to be asked, and try to play it off like we're still looking into it. We can't answer for sure. We're pretty sure this guy was an anti-Semitic, anti-immigration Trump supporter. But as far as telling you how many bullet casings were on the roof, like we still need more investigative time to figure that out. Like this is why I don't even entertain the idea of this being negligence or innocent in any way. It's because of the way they're responding to basic questions, but then they're not being consistent in the way they're responding, right? Like when it comes to trying to assign a motive to the shooter, they'll rush to conclusions there because they want to be the first to lay out like who this person was and that he was acting alone and that he's a Republican and all these things. Like they're fine with putting all that out there and letting the media work with that. But when it comes to anything substantial around it, you know, that could lead to any real information, they're like, oh, pump the brakes. Tian, you said yesterday.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, my bad.
You're good. I was say, Tian, you said yesterday, within 72 hours, like if you had a breakdown, a failure like this at your old job, you would know the exact spot where it happened, why it happened, who was responsible for it, and you would have like plans in place to fix it, right? I mean, the fact that a fuck up on this level 2 weeks later, they're acting like they don't know is completely absurd.
Correct. Particularly when it's not even mission critical, which is life critical.
Right.
I mean, mission critical, you wouldn't even have 72 hours. But yeah, you're right. And it's ridiculous. Within hours of the event, that night, it would have been 24/7 nonstop investigation. That night, they would have had, as I said yesterday, the first thing you do, you identify the point of failure, which was the guy on the roof, and you work your way back from there. It doesn't take but a few hours to figure out who was responsible for that roof, who authorized or allowed nobody to be on that roof, blah, 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 blah. It's within hours. It doesn't take
Chain of
rocket
command.
science.
It's chain of command.
Yeah,
It's the same thing in the military. Anytime we had a serious incident report, SIR, right? Like, and it became up to like a battalion commander level. Like, we're talking like big news. Somebody loses a radio out in the field. Somebody loses a weapon out in the field. Somebody, dies in a car accident, or there's some kind of training accident. Like, there is such an easy chain in that command structure to lead up and say, okay, the break point is right here. This is the person that needs to be held accountable. And see, that's just the game that these people play. It's the same game that the FBI has played. It's the same game that every single one of these people plays. It's an active investigation. Therefore, we can't give any answers because we don't want to actually assume any accountability. We don't want to actually have any form of accountability. I say this all the time. It's like that meme with the Spider-Man that's pointing at himself in a circle. Like, that is how our government runs these days. It's just Spider-Man pointing in a circle. That's all it is.
Let me ask this. Why not? Like, okay, you're going to try to pull off the assassination of Donald Trump, right? And I'm going down this 100% inside job. This is where I'm coming from when I kind of set this up, right? Why would you not have a clear-cut patsy, like, ready to roll out? Like, you would think that there would be some kind of contingency plan in case, I don't know, the guy missed, Donald Trump survives, and then you have this PR nightmare. Like, you would think that they would have, like, you know what? This person fucked up, whether it's the counter sniper, his spotter, someone in the chain of command, someone to throw under the bus, pin the blame on, and be like, this is a one person, this is our point of failure, this is where it went wrong, we fired the person, we were putting someone new in there, we're re-upping on training, here's our path forward to make sure it never happens again. Within 48 hours, I feel like if this was
at minimum administrative leave, just like they do in the police department, administrative leave because of a shooting. Immediately they go to administrative leave until they figure out what the shooting was about. Immediately.
So
let me ask a question here. Okay, would they be doing anything different if they succeeded?
I don't know.
Well, it depends.
I don't see any difference between what they're doing now than if they succeeded. Right? It would still be like, oh my gosh, this is I can't believe it. This is a failure of unimaginable, unforeseen. We just like I don't see any difference in the reaction than if they had succeeded. That they still would be doing what they're doing now.
I agree. Okay, that's fair.
Yes,
I think that's fair. So why not have, like, because the last thing you would want, I would think, is for people like us to be sitting here in these virtual, smoke-filled rooms trying to, like, figure out what's going on, right? Like,
well, think about what they set up. They set up with, I think Eric Trump even said it was a chip shot. They set up such an easy thing for it to happen, and it was so close to happening that I think they didn't think they needed anything else.
And Trump still messed it up for him by turning his head at just the right time. I mean, it's like the perfect Trump move. You know what I mean? It's like every time they think they've got the guy, and no matter what situation he is, he always just methodically does the head turn. I mean, it's symbolic.
The irony of it, him looking at a chart on illegal immigration too. Like, the main thing that this election has been about is the open border. Like, it's all connected to the open border, the crime, the fentanyl, the illegal voting. Like, so much of this entire election is about the border. So the fact that, like, he was turning his head to show a chart on how badly they were fucking up the border too is the irony there. The poetic justice in it all. It can't be ignored. Go ahead, TL. What were you going to say?
Well, and I mentioned it yesterday. I'll repeat it today, which is basically saying when you have this level of noise, right? Mm-hmm. And cover up, whatever we want to call it, how bad is what they're actually hiding? because they're allowing the incompetence to show and reflect itself and compounding it by basically having their thumb up their ass, which is basically how bad is it what they were doing. It's really bad. I mean, obviously it is bad if you're attempting an assassination, but the point is that it's, in my opinion, it's landed square on their lap that everybody knows, and they have no way out other than noise, because they can't admit to the failure, even though the failure is evident, because if they admit to the failure, then they have to justify where was the failure, and that's when the discovery happens.
Well, they're trying to admit to the failure without ever pinpointing the exact spot.
Exactly. Well, that's the point. The noise.
So is it because that they don't have someone that they could put the blame on?
No, they have somebody Bongino said it in yesterday.
They had someone, Tien, like that. You would think that person would have been thrown under the bus like almost immediately. My thought is they're terrified that if they try to pin this on any one or two people, those one or two people are going to come forward and be like, no, here's what happened, right? Like, so they have to keep like this moving goalpost of like,
oh yeah,
we're trying to figure it out. We can't tell if it's over here or on the roof.
It's not one individual, which is
exactly, because they know, like, and this is why are they this desperate and incompetent and sloppy? Like, what is going on? Like, okay, I put myself in their shoes. If I'm going to try to pull something like this off, like, I know exactly, because whether you're successful or not, like, there's gonna be a required explanation. Someone's gonna have to take responsibility for how this could have happened. So how do they go into this without a plan of, here's where the blame is going to land, here's who is going to be responsible, here's what we're going to tell the American people as far as how this was able to happen? They seem like the dog that was chasing a car. Like, there was no plan as to what to do if you caught the car. Like, it, you know what I mean? Like, and maybe I'm misreading this whole thing, but I'm almost shocked that they don't have a patsy lined up to say, like, this, it was on the ground operationally, this person was derelict of duty and created a security weakness. You know, like, the fact that we're 17 days later, we don't have a name of anybody, nobody has been fired. You had Cheeto resign, but that was only because of the absolutely pathetic congressional hearing. I mean, that was terrible. Other than her resigning, you've gotten nothing in this period of time. I just find that.
The excuse is, it was a monumental failure in the communication with the local PD. Again, going back to my military background, I know things go wrong, but when you do any mission, I don't care if it's a convoy, I don't care what it is, comms and ComSec are the number one thing. You cannot operate as a unit. You cannot have cohesion if you have noise on the battlefield. I don't care if it's weak bandwidth and you can't use a drone. Go, like Jesse Waters said last night, go down to Verizon and grab a $20 hotspot for all I care. You know what I mean? This kid was able to fly his drone over, and you mean to tell me you don't have some kind of localized system? You can block everybody else's cell phone signal within a 2-mile radius of the event to keep somebody from detonating a bomb, but you can't fly your drone over to see that this rifle was pre-placed on a roof. You're not talking to an asset, the counter sniper team with the local SWAT team. You can't communicate with them. I'm sorry. You don't let the event go forward. You don't SP. You don't let Donald Trump even get out of the beast without proper ComSec with everybody. I mean, it's so stupid that they want people to believe that.
It's basic stuff, right? Like, it's
primary protocol.
Yeah, I've used the analogy before. It's like, it's as basic as lifting the lid of the toilet before you pee on it. You know, like, it doesn't.
Wait, you're supposed to do that?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, it's
no wonder my wife gets on my case.
It's crazy that any of this was allowed to happen. And the fact that most of the mainstream, and when I say mainstream, I mean like the Fox News, Newsmax, Republicans, um, even like a lot of like the mainstream influencers, they're still tiptoeing around this as if there's any chance this was just pure negligence at this point. At what point do the gloves come off and you start to see more people like Corey Mills and Eli Crane and um, start to say like, hey, this was intentional. This was an inside job. There are elements.
When they come out with the report.
It's got to happen. Like,
Yeah, but when they come out with the report, they got to go. They got to go all in.
It's not even just elected people, because I feel like that's important. But like you were mentioning Bongina earlier, I've been watching guys like Charlie Kirk or Jack Posobiec, trying to get a feel for what some of these mainstream people are saying. And I'll be honest, the one guy who's been right there the whole time that I've been really impressed to see him take is Rich Barris of the People's Pundit. He's come right out and be like, we stop playing around and acting like this was an intentional inside job. I expect so much more of that, from like the War Room crowd and people like that. I feel like the mainstream conservative influencers, along with many elected officials, have not been nearly aggressive enough in talking about the intentional nature of all of this. I feel like they're letting an opportunity fall by the wayside here. Donald Trump can't really do it himself. I don't feel like that'll go over well, but I feel like the people around him need to kind of hold that torch and really start seeding that into the minds of the people, that this wasn't just some crazy lone gunman and porous security, that this was a trained asset, most likely given help and intentional security lapses to allow him to set up and take this shot and attempt to take out the leading candidate for the 2024 presidential election, because that is what happened. I don't understand the tentative nature, the tiptoeing around it from the biggest voices within the America First movement and the Republican Party.
I think if this is my take. First on Bongino, he's got too many contacts within the Secret Service that he doesn't. I don't think he wants to burn those bridges. Although he's asking a lot of the questions that leads you to the aspect, why aren't you saying that it was an inside job? But it's kind of like the Q-ish Socratic method, or asking the sufficient number of, wait, what about this and what about that, and etc. Right, that kind of deal. And he pinpoints that it is because he used his own experience under an Obama event where he had to delay because there was a suspicious character in the area. So, and that was identified way before Trump came on the scene. So, from a perspective on the stage, the others, I get this gut feeling, and I have no evidence for this, but that they have to allow it to go where they're all in, where the Secret Service and the FBI are all in. They come out with a report basically saying nobody's at fault, so to speak, right? I'm making that up. And then that's the furor, because that's the closest it gets to the election, the more bullshit that'll sound. And I'm not saying that they're doing it intentionally that way, but it kind of makes sense to me that you don't want to, if you're a big name, you don't want to go out there with let's say, a conspiracy theory, because this would be a true conspiracy theory, a theory of a conspiracy, right? That everybody will rally against. Right now, there's so many different things out there, multiple shooters, and the one on that one, whether it's two, a second one besides the 20-year-old, besides Crooks, or more, and they all missed. You're going to hire professionals to take out Trump, the most consequential event you could possibly do in the 2024 election or in the presidential election in general, and you're going to take him out and you miss? No. Right? That kind of deal. That's where I'm finding it incredulous on that front. But in the overall aspect of the noise that's out there, the more noise, the harder it is to see the one pearl, the one true path. You have the gut feel for it, but there's all kinds of noise, and they're feeding into the noise.
I get what you're saying. That makes sense.
And I'm not saying that these guys are in collusion or anything like that to withhold calling it an inside job. Some of them have already said that there's ample number of videos out there of people, common Joes, so to speak, saying that it's an inside job. But the big names, like you said, I think they're doing it in the aspect of asking a lot of questions, and that's a good thing.
What I don't want to see is this become like, 'cause you have this task force in the House where they didn't put any of the best people on it to investigate. And you just get the feeling it's going to be this limited hangout, and they're going to try to sell you on the idea that, it was a lone shooter acting independently and extreme negligence, a combination of those two things. Like, you can already see the way that's headed. And I just hope that this isn't allowed to get buried, because the truth behind this is a paradigm smasher, right? Like, if you truly expose the intentional nature of this, I think it changes the entire perception of how almost everyone in this country looks at the government, looks at the media, looks at all of it. If you really, I think it's one of those moments that could really galvanize, us against them, so to speak, the average person versus the oligarchy that controls us. It's just hard. It's hard to imagine, or it's hard to see the way things have been going so far post assassination attempt, that anyone of, I don't want to say significance, because that's not right, but anyone of influence isn't going down that path at the moment. Maybe Tucker Carlson. I saw someone say Tucker Carlson's been saying some interesting things. I haven't heard him, but I don't want to see this get kind of like memory hold, or
I think after the testimony yesterday, it will kick up again.
Yeah,
it's really fresh. That guy from the acting director from the Secret Service really blew it.
Yeah,
is feigned indignant attitude from being questioned and all that kind of stuff. It was obvious. It was as obvious as the Democrats were in the Twitter files.
Yeah.
And on the flip side, obviously the Democrats weren't behind the table, but it was as obvious as that they were out to defend the scenario and the situation, not necessarily trying to provide information to the people that were asking. But again, looking at all the things that went on that day, it's just a crack up. I shouldn't say crack up from a funny perspective, but it's an aspect that Trump's walking around with a nicked ear, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if this was but an assassination attempt, when you're doing it this way, yeah, I'm saying the Secret Service opened the door. Whether they were involved from a perspective of the actual event, the actual action or not, I don't know. But I still ask, and they missed.
Mm-hmm.
Look at what ended up happening. Trump is out there on the stage, clean line of sight. He hears the whizzing, grabs his ear because he gets hit. He looks at his hand, then drops to the ground before the Secret Service comes to him. And there's line of sight. Sorry. A professional would have taken him out.
Yeah, we had to call up the chain to kill the guy pointing a gun at the former president of the United States. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, sorry. There's too much stuff here, and like I said, the 20-year-old that magically finds the specific route and the specific action in the event that without drones, and he flies a drone and all of this kind of stuff that eludes police, Secret Service, and other agencies that were there, and the intel that goes before that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's nonsense.
Right.
So how about this? This is amazing, right? And I was wondering if this was going to happen or not. Trump says he will continue to hold outdoor rallies. The Republican presidential nominee, former President Donald Trump, said on July 27th that he will continue to hold outdoor rallies despite the assassination attempt earlier this month in Pennsylvania. The former president appeared to be pushing back on reports citing anonymous sources that indicated that Secret Service had advised his campaign to stop holding outside rallies in the wake of the shooting, which occurred at a fairgrounds in Butler, Pennsylvania on July 13th. The agency has not issued a public statement about the claims. In the Truth Social post, former President Trump wrote, quote, "I will continue to do outdoor rallies, and Secret Service has agreed to substantially step up their operation. They are very capable of doing so. No one can ever be allowed to stop or impede free speech or gathering." Soon after he got on the stage, blah, 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 gets into the stuff. Anyway, point is he really is the ultimate American badass, this guy. The deep state sends a bullet at his face, clips his ear, and that's not going to deter him. He's going to continue stepping out in exposed positions and outdoor crowds of tens and tens and tens of thousands of people and continue to speak to the voters and to the American people without fear of somebody taking another shot. I mean, just speak to that a little bit, 45-1. The way he got up, threw his fist in the air to begin with an active shooter out there. The fact that, he's out speaking at the RNC a few days later, doing rallies within a week or so of the event, and now saying, "Yeah, I'm going back outdoors too." I mean, what does that say to you about the man who is Donald J. Trump?
Well, you see, this is the beautiful contrast that Trump offers compared to what we've seen for the past 4 years. Is he understands that it's not just your fans and your enemies here that are watching that imagery. It's your adversaries and your allies, that are waiting to see if you're going to make it into the Oval Office again. And projecting that type of American strength is exactly what the deep state has been trying to destroy for God knows how long, right? Like they've just been trying to demasculate and weaken the American image around the world. And for the most part, that's worked under Joe Biden. I mean, you might see the occasional kind of mockery of American politicians and Americans in general around the world. But I mean, look what, these third world countries are making skits about, have been making skits in Kamala Harris and just the dysfunction of everything. And I think the second part of it is the understood that it was unifying. You know what I mean? Like that's a unifying thing. Like in that moment, like, you know what? Despite the physical rounds, like the literal rounds that have been shot at me, and the lawfare rounds, and all of the stuff that we've as Americans have been put through, the message is to stand up in the face of it and fight and walk yourself off the stage, get up and dust yourself off. I mean, it is the America that that attitude that we all grew up knowing and loving. That's what gives us the pride in where we are, and how we function. I mean, we are a war fighting nation. Our flag is a battle flag. You know what I mean? Like our nation's flag is a battle flag. And so I think like that is a clear symbol to the people of the United States and the people around the world that we're not going to be deterred by whatever it is they throw at us. They can literally shoot at us. And, if the flag bearer goes down, then somebody else picks it up and continues forward. You know what I mean? Like that is the attitude. And I think that also is important for all of us to remember. And I'm not like trying to be cliche, but like we all need to be willing to take our own slings and arrows for what we believe in. And what we believe in is a sovereign United States, where people are free to live out the lives that they want as long as they're not harming the rights of the people around them. And just, be a productive member of society and don't stay down. Like, get up, keep fighting, and let's win this thing. Like, that is the whole part of it. So I thought it was badass. I thought it was sick. I mean, when you got the robot android Mark Zuckerberg saying that it's badass just because he's been, in the MMA kind of arena training with these guys, like he's been getting beat up, the adrenaline has been flowing. And so he understands, I mean, not what it's like to be shot at, but to be in that kind of combat situation, you know what I mean, where the adrenaline just kind of takes over. And for Trump to, being 70 plus and in that moment have bullets whizzing by your ear and yet have the foundation to know that in that moment you can give everybody hope and a fire under their ass to stand there and do it. Go ahead and say that Donald Trump has a problem with age. Go ahead and say that he's not quite all there, that he's having problems with cognitive ability. He knew exactly what he was doing, and he let the adrenaline seal the deal, man. Like, I thought it was awesome. I just thought it was awesome.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It really speaks to the man he is. And the fact that he didn't use it to like divide the country more or like he could have very easily taken a very hostile attitude towards whatever, after that happening. And he kind of went the opposite direction with it. And it's kind of like, decided to be like the bigger man in the situation. And he's not going to be intimidated or scared away from being who he is or how he's going to deliver his agenda to the American people. And again, the fact that he's willing to go out there and continue doing these outdoor rallies, I think just is a major fist pump to his base and just a double cannon middle.
I was just gonna say that, dude. Double barrel.
To the entire power structure that opposes his America First agenda for the American people. I love it. This is exactly the kind of leader we all, I think, were pretty sure we had in Donald Trump from the beginning. But if there was ever any doubt in who the man was and how committed he was to fighting for the average American person, you saw it right there on July 13th. And you're continuing to see it now in the way he's been handling himself. And the fact that he's willing to, again, put himself on that stage in outdoor rallies scenarios, I think speaks volumes to it all. All right, guys, we're at 4:57. That means we got to go exclusively to pilled.net for hour number 2. So please jump on over to the comfy bunker and keep hanging out with us. We're going to go till 6 p.m. today. So lots more to get into. I have a video clip I'm going to play on the other side of our break today. It's Donald Trump. He did a question and answer at the National Association of Black Journalists. And man, was it contentious. The entire time was contentious. They cut it 20 minutes short because there was just such a beatdown. It was fun to watch. So I'm going to play a little bit of that for you guys to watch. There's a lot of other stuff I want to get into too. I want to talk more about this whole weird meme that they're trying to push on the right. So I got a little clip about that. And some other stuff around Kamala Harris, including the latest report from OMG, O'Keefe Media Group, on how the DNC really feels about Kamala. That's a longer video. We'll watch some of it maybe, but I got a lot of stuff for you guys in the second half. So please come over to pilled.net to continue hanging out. I put the link in the Rumble chat and the DLive chat for you guys. So make it super easy to find. It's also in the video description underneath the Rumble stream. So go ahead and click those links. It'll bring you right in. Or just go to pilled.net in your browser and find us at 412 Productions. I'm going to play a little video. We'll be back on the other side to officially say goodbye to the other platforms. And then we'll read some gold pill chats. and carry on with hour number 2. We'll be right back, everybody.
Pill.net is proud to host 412 Productions, exclusively on the true home of free speech. To continue watching the show, we are here to help you over to Pilled. If you're new to the platform, just click on the welcome link provided. It will then automatically walk you through signing up for your free account. If you already have a Pill.net account, follow the link provided directing you straight to 412 Productions channel. We are excited to have you join the Pilled family, and if you have any questions at all, please email support@Pill.net. Enjoy the rest of 412 Productions on Pill.net. Free speech lives here.
All right, welcome back, everybody. And as always, a huge, big thank you to all of you out there who have jumped over from our other platforms to continue hanging out with us in the comfy bunker on Pill.net. One more time, that link is in the video description underneath the Rumble stream. I put it in the Rumble and D Live chat. Again, just go to Pill.net on your browser if you can't get to those links, and find us at 412 Productions. Very, very simple. So please keep hanging out with us for the next hour. If not, no worries. I will be back tomorrow with Frankie Val of the Quite Frankly Show and Zach Payne of Red Pill 78 for Taking It Back. We'll be live across all platforms for that, and syndicated by our good friends over on Badlands Media. Friday, we should be wrapping up the week with Ben and Tina Garrison of GurGraphics.com. So looking forward to having them back. We'll try to get that going. And that'll do it for this week. So lots still to come here on 412 Productions. So jump on over to Pill.net. Otherwise, have an awesome rest of your Wednesday, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow for Taking It Back.